So I want to share one of the my favorite blogs that I found about this month of Elul. It was so beautiful and so encouraging because it's just been so difficult. It's been so hard. I know many of us are exhausted and we literally have nothing left, but I just want you to know that if you have nothing left, like that's because you've been giving it your all. You've been giving it your all. If you're the remnant, like, and your heart is anything like mine, like you've given it everything you have, and you've had the enemy throw everything your way, and you've lost so much, yet you've still continued to persevere in fortitude. So this was so beautiful. And I'm just going to read the blog from here. It says, and this is by It Is Finished blog. It Is Finished blog. And I love that too, because I feel like, again, going back to the Hebrew month, this is the 6th month on the sacred calendar, but it's the 12th month. It's the end. It's the last month. It is finished. The cycle of the year is finished according to the civil calendar of God. So it says, we are currently in the month of Elul on the Hebrew calendar. My favorite thing about this month is that it is known as the month the king is in the field. In the Bible, the king would leave his palace during the month of Elul and set up camp in the field, and everyone was welcome to approach him. Most of the year, the king lived in a palace protected by guards and iron gates. To have an audience with the king, you had to be summoned. Should you approach without being summoned, you would die. Esther 4:11, unless he extended the golden scepter to you and spared your life. After the summons, there was palace protocol to learn before you could approach a king. You had to dress correctly, speak correctly, and have proper mannerisms. Your presentation had to be flawless. Once you got to the capital, you were ushered to the palace through the many intimidating gates, corridors, and antechambers that led to the throne room. Even the Queen of Sheba passed out when she came before King Solomon. But once a year, in the month of Elul, the king would come into the field. He would leave his palace and go out among his people. He would set up his royal tent in the field near a town, and all who wanted to see him were welcome. The announcement was made, the king is in the field. They were all welcome to come just as they were. No dress code, no protocol, no intimidation. The king receives them all with a smiling face and a radiant countenance, desiring to hear their concerns. The peasant behind his plow has access to the king in a manner unavailable to the highest ranking minister in the royal court when the king is in the palace. Let's look at a couple of biblical examples of kings in the field. 2 Chronicles 19 is about King Jehoshaphat going into the field. Verse 4 says, so Jehoshaphat lived in Jerusalem and went out again among the people from Beersheba to the hill country of Ephraim and brought them back to the Lord, the God of their fathers. The king went into the field to turn the people's hearts back to the Lord. Restoration. When he went out among the people, he saw things God didn't like: injustice, bribery, and oppression. So he established judges to end oppression and bring justice. God wants his people to experience his character. He wants to manifest his justice, his righteousness, and his love. This wasn't being seen among the people. Another king who went out into the field is Melchizedek in Genesis 14. Melchizedek gave Abram bread and wine and blessed him, saying, blessed is Abram by God, and blessed is God who delivered your enemies into your hand. When Abram was weary from battle, King Melchizedek came into the field to strengthen and refresh him. He blessed Abram. Of course, the greatest king who left his throne to come into the field was Jesus. He lived in our field in a tent of mortal flesh. He was God made accessible. Smiling and radiant, he came to manifest God's goodness, love, and righteousness, to heal and deliver all. He came to draw us into a relationship with the Father. That's what it looks like when the king is in the field. He is the King of Kings. Revelation 1:6 says, he made us kings and priests. We are in the field. What should that look like? We should be walking among the people, receiving them with a smiling face, listening to their concerns, and like Jehoshaphat, reconciling them back to God by manifesting his righteousness and love towards them. So we are Christ's ambassadors, God making his appeal, as it were, through us. We, as Christ's personal representatives, beg you for his sake to lay hold of the divine favor now offered you and be reconciled to God. Like Melchizedek, strengthening and refreshing them, letting them know they have been blessed by God, offering them the bread and the wine, offering them Jesus and what he did for them through the cross. And like our King Jesus, showing forth the nature of our Father, his goodness, love, righteousness, his ability to heal and deliver all, drawing them into a relationship with a good Father, not just in the month of Elul, but all the time. And after I read that article, that blog post, I was inspired to write this, and I just wrote it from my heart. And it says, many of us have been running on fumes. The enemy has thrown everything possible our way to try to wear us down and take us out, but you're about to be refreshed by God. In the month of Elul, the king leaves his throne to meet us in the field. He knows we are too tired and run ragged to enter the throne room. We left everything we have out on the field. We've given it everything we have, left our heart out on the field till there was nothing left. And so now he is coming to us, and he is bringing us rest, refreshing spiritual and financial sustenance, restoring our strength and healing our battle wounds. This month of Elul, everything changes, and your faithfulness will be rewarded. Your latter half will be greater than your former half. You will no longer have time stolen from you, but he is restoring the time and making you free to worship him as your heart desires. You will be free to serve him without the chains of Egypt weighing you down. He is liberating his priests to be able to serve and sup with him freely. This month of Elul is going to be a big month, a pivotal month, a transitional month. It will be a time of intimacy and reward and favor. This is the time when the Lord forgave Israel for their idolatry of the golden calf and blessed them with another set of commandments. He gave them another chance to turn from their ways. God is giving the world a chance. A shaking is coming, and it's going to shake everything that can be shaken. But those of us who have built their house on the rock shall remain standing and shall be blessed and favored, and we shall be in the field calling forth the world to know our Father and his loving kindness.